Welcome to your first ever Migration Minute with Richard Cissel, your very real named local chickadeologist, which is a very real job. And tonight, we're going to look at last night's migration and what's coming up in the next 3 nights in 1 minute. Let's go quickly to the map and look at last night's migration. Remember, this is Migration Minute, meaning we're going to try to wrap all of this up in under 60 seconds. So last night we had big migration out west, except for a little bit of migration there in that tri-state region of Colorado, Wyoming, Utah. Not a lot of migration out east due to some weather events. Let's go to our next map and see what's happening tonight across the U.S. And it's not a lot. A little bit of movement down in the southwest, down from Texas up into the southeastern Great Plains, and then the rest of the U.S., pretty quiet overall night. Why is that happening? Well, let's look at our radar map. Not a lot of big weather events happening. You can see a little bit of stuff down here in the desert southwest. Florida seeing some action from that system that came through last night, as well as up in the northeast, a little bit in the Great Plains. But really, outside of that, not a lot of weather. So what's happening? Why aren't the birds moving? Well, if we look a little bit deeper, what we'll see is there are some disturbances that might prevent some bird movements, but what does that mean for the birds? We can see kind of how we're painting this picture. What does it look like for birds? Well, if we go to our wind map really tells the tale. Lots of headwinds right here. And for birds crossing from the Yucatan Peninsula into the United States, they don't want to cross in those headwinds. So headwinds there, we've got headwinds here. We've got some low pressure systems. We've got weather right here. Remember, we saw that on the other map. So with all of those systems kind of blocking the main arteries of bird migration back into the U.S. from Mexico, Central America, South America, all those birds returning, the major arteries are stopped for the night. So not a lot of migration happening tonight. Few birds are going to try to sneak around up here. There were a few birds that might have been in here that might try to sneak through there where there's not a lot of headwinds in this region, but there's not a lot of movement overall because of our current wind and weather conditions. So let's go back to our forecast. Let's look one more time and see. This is tonight what's happening. Let's look to see for the next couple of nights. We will do a migration minute, hopefully every night, so you can see what's coming up. You can see tomorrow night, same situation, not a lot of movement. And finally, for the 8th, a little bit more movement. We're finally going to see some picking up here, kind of in that Mississippi River Valley there, a little bit up in the northeast. Desert Southwest is going to start to heat up. My guess is that in a few nights after the 8th, then we'll start to see some return of some big pushes of birds. And what's coming? Well, if you're in the east, you're starting to see sparrows. It's the tail end of the winter warblers or those early season migrants, depending upon where you're at in the east. You've got those birds coming through. Thrushes are on the move. Swallowtail kites are starting to come back to the U.S. Ruby-throated hummingbirds out east, moving very deep into their summering ranges. And then if you're out in the west, the three queens are moving. Yes, the three queens, that is the Lucy's, Grace's, and Virginia's warblers. They're on the move in the desert southwest, coming back up into their ranges. Nashville warblers also on the move out west. And then we're starting to see early kingbirds. Again, sparrows on the move out west as well. Things are happening. Migration is here. For your Migration Minute, I'm Richard Cissel, and I have no idea how long that video took.